Hi, this is Michael Rubin, and hold on, let me turn off the speaker here. Yeah. So, we started talking about the circle of fifths, and, as far as I'm concerned, there are three really valuable uses for the circle of fifths. And one of those is to remember a major scale when you can't remember it. So the major scale is the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So there's two ways to remember it if you don't know it by heart. One of them is one, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, which we've already discussed. But the other one is the circle of fifths. So first, we're going to create a rule about how the circle of fifths works. It's going to be a pretty long rule, but well worth it. So, which scale has 0 sharps and flats? C. So this is called the circle of fifths. So let's find the fifth note in the key of C to find the next scale that we're going to look at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, D, E, F, G. So let's look at the G major scale. How many sharps are in the G major scale? 1. What's the fifth note in the key of G? G, A, B, C, D. How many sharps are in the D major scale? 2. So you see what's going on. We started with C and we had 0 sharps. We went up a fifth. That's what it's called when you go to the scale whose root note is the same note as the fifth note of the scale you're currently on. So you go up a fifth, and you got to the G scale, and there was 1 sharp. We went up a fifth. 2 sharps. If we went up a fifth from there, 3 sharps. So the beginning of the rule says, in the circle of fifths, every time you go up a fifth, you add a sharp. Now let's look at the G scale. What's the name of the sharp? F sharp. Look at the D scale, a fifth higher. Is there an F sharp there? Yes, there is. So we retained the F sharp. So the next part of the rule is, in the circle of fifths, you go up a fifth, you add a sharp, and you retain the sharps you find along the way. Now let's look at the key of G. What's the name of the sharp? F sharp. Alphabetically, what comes after F? G. So that's just before the key note. F is just before G, and we're in the key of G. So the rule continues. In the circle of fifths, you go up a fifth. Every time you go up a fifth, you add a sharp. You retain the sharps you find along the way, and the new sharp is alphabetically just before the key note. So let's look at the key of D. We don't even have to look at it. What comes before D in the alphabet? C. So the new sharp is C sharp. The key of A, what comes in the musical alphabet before A? G. So G sharp, okay, is the new sharp. Now, let's look back at the key of G. F sharp is the sharp. In the key of G, G is the first note and A is the second note. What number value would you give F sharp? Well, let's count. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. It's the 7th note. So there's the completion of the rule. In the circle of fifths, every time you go up a fifth, you add a sharp. You retain the sharps you find along the way. The new sharp is in the note just alphabetically before the key note, which is in the 7th place in the scale. And that's a great way to get started with the circle of fifths. So the next time, we're going to use this rule to look at the circle of fifths and put it into practice. See, we're going to use this rule to remember the names of the notes of major scales, and you'll see how it works. All right, see you then.